Before we dive into specific myths, let's understand what we're dealing with here. Creation myths aren't random stories made up around campfires, though many were certainly shared that way. They're sophisticated attempts by ancient peoples to answer fundamental questions about existence. Scholars generally categorize creation myths into several types: creation from chaos, creation from nothing, world parent myths, emergence myths, and earth diver myths. But what's absolutely fascinating is how similar themes appear in cultures that had no contact with each other whatsoever. How did civilizations separated by vast oceans and thousands of years come up with remarkably similar explanations for Earth's origin? Was it coincidence, shared human psychology, or perhaps something more mysterious? Let's find out together. Chapter 1: The Void and the Chaos Norse Mythology. Ginnungagap. Let's begin our journey in the frozen north with the Vikings and their concept of Ginnungagap, the yawning void. Picture this. Before anything existed, there was nothing but an enormous, empty chasm. No light, no darkness, no sound, just nothingness. To the north of this void lay Niflheim, a realm of ice and mist. To the south, Muspelheim, a land of fire and sparks. When the heat from Muspelheim met the ice from Niflheim, something magical happened. The ice began to melt and drip. From these primordial drips formed Ymir, the first giant, and Audhumla, a cosmic cow. Yes, you heard that right, a cosmic cow. Audhumla licked the ice blocks and gradually freed Buri, the first god, whose descendants would eventually slay Ymir and create the world from his body. Greek mythology, chaos to cosmos. Now let's sail south to ancient Greece, where we encounter a remarkably similar concept. According to Hesiod's Theogony, in the beginning was chaos. Not the chaotic disorder we think of today, but rather a primordial void, a gap in existence itself. From this chaos emerged Gaia, Mother Earth herself, but she didn't appear as the lush green planet we know. Instead, she was the fundamental foundation upon which everything else would be built. Gaia then gave birth to Uranus, the sky, and together they began the process of creating the world as we know it. Notice the pattern? Both cultures, separated by geography and time, began with a void, a nothingness from which order gradually emerged. This isn't coincidence. It reflects a deep human intuition about creation requiring space to unfold. Mesopotamian mythology, the Enuma. Elish, perhaps the most influential void-to-order creation story, comes from ancient Mesopotamia. The Enuma Elish, written over 3,000 years ago. This epic begins with primordial waters, Apsu, the freshwater ocean, and Tiamat, the saltwater sea. These weren't just bodies of water, they were conscious, divine beings. When their waters mixed, they gave birth to the first generation of gods. But here's where it gets interesting. The younger gods were too noisy for Apsu, who decided to destroy them. This led to a cosmic war that would reshape reality itself. The young god Marduk eventually defeats Tiamat, Apsu's wife, in an epic battle and splits her body in half. One half becoming the sky, the other becomes the earth. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers? Those are Tiamat's tears. This original mythology of Sumerians and Akkadians was so powerful that it influenced creation stories throughout the ancient Middle East and beyond. Chapter 2: Cosmic Eggs and World Parents, Chinese Mythology. Pangu and the Cosmic Egglet's Journey. East to ancient China, where we encounter one of the most beautiful creation myths ever conceived. Imagine the universe as a giant egg, not a chicken egg, but a cosmic egg containing all potential existence. Inside this egg, for 18,000 years, slept Pangu, the first being. When he finally awakened, he found himself cramped in the darkness. So, what did he do? He grabbed a cosmic axe and cracked the egg open. The lighter, purer parts of the egg floated up to become the heavens, while the heavier, murkier parts sank down to become the earth. But here's the remarkable part. Pangu was afraid the sky and earth would merge again, so he stood between them, growing taller each day for another 18,000 years, pushing them further apart. When Pangu finally died from exhaustion, his body became the world itself. His breath became the wind, his voice became thunder, his eyes became the sun and moon, his blood became rivers, his hair became forests, and his sweat became rain. Even the fleas on his body became humans. Talk about sacrifice for the greater good. Finnish mythology. The Cosmic Duck Egg. Finland gives us another cosmic egg story, but with a unique twist involving a duck, because apparently, cosmic creation needs waterfowl. In the Kalevala, Finland's national epic, the world begins with Luonnotar, the daughter of nature, floating in the primordial sea. A duck, searching for a place to nest, finds Luonnotar's knee sticking out of the water. The duck lays 7 eggs, 6 of gold and 1 of iron. When Luonnotar moves her leg, the eggs fall and shatter. From the broken pieces of these eggs, the world forms. The lower shells become the earth, the upper shells the sky. The yolks become the sun, the whites become the moon, and the scattered fragments become the stars. It's like the universe's most consequential kitchen accident. Hindu mythology. The golden egg, Hiranyagarbha. Hinduism presents us with perhaps the most sophisticated cosmic egg mythology through the concept of Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg or golden womb. This isn't just a creation story. It's a philosophical framework that has influenced billions of people for thousands of years. According to the Rig Veda, one of humanity's oldest religious texts, in the beginning there was only the cosmic waters. Upon these waters floated a golden egg shining like the sun. From this egg emerged Brahma, the creator god, who split the egg into 2 halves with his will alone. One half became the heavens, Svarga. The other became the earth, Bhumi. But here's what makes this myth particularly profound. The egg didn't just create the physical world, it created time itself. The creation process took 1 cosmic year. That's 4.32 billion human years, which is remarkably close to modern scientific estimates of Earth's age. Japanese mythology. Izanagi and Izanami Japan gives us a world parent myth with Izanagi and Izanami, the divine couple tasked with creating land from the primordial ocean. Armed with a jeweled spear called Amano Hoko, they stood on the floating bridge of heaven and stirred the ocean below. When they lifted the spear, the dripping brine formed the first island, Onogoro. This became their home, where they built. a sacred pillar, and began the process of creating the Japanese islands through their divine union. Each island was literally born from their relationship, making Japan not just a country, but a family of divine children. Chapter 3. Earth from the Depths. The Earth Diver. Myth, a global phenomenon. Now we come to one of the most widespread creation myths on Earth, the Earth Diver story. This myth appears independently in cultures across North America, Eastern Europe, and parts of Asia. The consistency is so striking that scholars believe it represents one of humanity's oldest story patterns. Native American traditions. The Great Turtle, among many Native American tribes, particularly the Iroquois and Ojibwe, the Earth Diver myth tells of a time when the world was covered entirely by water. Sky Woman fell from the heavens while pregnant, and the water animals held a council. How could they save her? Many animals tried diving to the bottom of the primordial sea to bring up Earth. The beaver tried and failed. The otter tried and failed. Finally, the humble muskrat dove deeper than anyone had ever gone, and brought up a tiny handful of mud in its paws. Though the effort killed the brave little creature. This mud was placed on the back of the great turtle, where it grew and grew until it became North America itself, which is why many Native Americans still refer to their continent as Turtle Island. Sky Woman's children became the first humans, and the great turtle still carries the world on its back. What's absolutely remarkable is that similar stories exist among the Sami people of Northern Europe, various Siberian tribes, and even some Eastern European folk tales. How did cultures separated by vast distances and thousands of years develop such similar stories? God and the Devil. In Balkan and broader Slavic mythology, we find a fascinating variation, where God enlists the help of the devil to create the earth. God floats on the primordial waters and sends the devil diving to the bottom to bring up soil. The devil successfully brings up earth, but tries to keep some for himself, hiding it in his mouth. When God blesses the soil and it begins to expand, the hidden earth in the devil's mouth also grows, forcing him to spit it out. This expelled earth becomes the mountains and rough terrain, while God's portion becomes the fertile plains. It's a brilliant explanation for why the world has both beautiful, fertile areas and harsh, difficult terrain. Divine cooperation with a touch of deception. Hindu tradition. Vishnu as the cosmic boar. Hinduism contributes its own earth diver story through Vishnu's Varaha, a boar avatar. When the demon Hiranyaksha drags the earth to the bottom of the cosmic ocean, Vishnu takes the form of a massive boar. After a 1,000-year battle, Varaha defeats the demon and carries the earth back to the surface on his tusks. This isn't just a rescue story. It's a cosmic restoration myth that explains how order is maintained in the universe through divine intervention.